Good afternoon, everyone. My name is TJ, and today I will be interviewing Potatoo of Premier League head coach of the Boston Blades. How are you doing?
Doing good today. How about yourself?
Doing all right. Happy to get another interview done. All before I go get to watch some WrestleMania with some friends. Thanks for fitting it in before I get to do that. I know
No
that
worries, man.
I know you've tried to schedule for the past 2 weeks, but I know just we haven't been able to meet up. But I know I was waiting to see if you'd make playoffs or not. But let's talk about you know making it to Premier League, like after being in Victory League prior. What were your thoughts, knowing that you're going to face against possibly even tougher opponents than you did previously, in now Draftarig?
Full strength confidence is. If you're gonna be scared, there's nothing that good that can come out of that. So, and I knew a lot of these people were the same crowd that I fought last season.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew I had nothing to fear, and it's a good opportunity to fight more experienced players and to just get better.
Okay. So let's talk about your team now. So I know a few of the members, like Genesect was one of them, and of course Contact. But what was your plan going into this draft?
Plan going into this draft was honestly just to kind of draft around. I mean, I kind of just drafted around Genesect. Like the whole team's purpose was to score as much value as I could in my picks. So I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to pick very, well-rounded, very like versatile Pokemon, which I've found worked very well for me in the past. And just kind of get some good synergies, get a lot of hazards going, get a lot of different ways to get the offense to work and a solid defensive backbone.
And so you're talking about like value. So what do you think was like your steal of the draft?
Steal the draft, probably either Ogerpon or Skuntank. Those were both incredibly high value players that both put in just stupendous amounts of work. Ogerpon at C tier was absolutely phenomenal. The Terra Grass just let its Ivy Cudgel like hit through everything, even strong resists, and the plus speed bonus, plus the open item slot just gave it so much room to really function however it pleased.
Yeah,
And Skuntank just ended up being a great special wall and trapper for the whole season.
I think I've seen you've used Contact in the past before, right? Or
I think I've drafted it, but never really gotten much out of it, or like it's kind of been benched before, and I know I haven't in this league. So this is really its first chance to shine here, and it definitely proved itself.
okay, so going in your first match, I believe you got to face up against the champion, Gene, uh, head coach of the San Francisco Ninetales after rebranding, and I believe that you got your win. Um,
Oh yeah, 5-0. I gotta
so
say the Levanis were scarier.
I'm gonna share that to let them know that. So like, what were your thoughts? Like, when you starting off strong and like in a new league against the champion.
I thought I was gonna do a hell of a lot better than I did overall.
Mm,
Which I mean, yeah, but it was a good start. Going into that first matchup and clearing the previous season's champion, kind of
mm-hmm.
put my name on the board. Just it put me in a good position to start with that I was really happy with at that time.
Yeah, and I feel like
Which I was,
yeah, I feel like
yeah.
during throughout the season, you'd have some losses that were incredibly close. I think like a miss here and there like really hurt you at least the 1 or 2 games, but
100%. Yeah, the fact that I'm down 2 games, but still like I still have a positive differential just shows how close those games that I lost ended up being. It was always by like 1 or 2 differential, and any games that I won were just. I mean, besides one of them, I think I
mhm.
had 2 like clean sweeps, like 5-0, 6-0. Like
Yep.
the matchups that I knew I had were just they went way better than they had any right to.
So you get, as we said before, like when you go into Premier League, you get to fight, tougher people because they're the ones who've survived, and some of them become like champions of the league. Who do you think like was the opponent that you were like most looking forward to fighting in Premier League?
The one I was looking forward to fighting the most. Um, Honestly, I kind of wanted to take a crack at Flygon for a long while. This guy's been the head of the league, and I never really got a chance to, you know, test him out. And it seems like he's not all he was talked up to be.
Well, I think going back in that matchup, I remember. So for those of you who didn't get to watch the matchup, Potato got a very very good win, solid win 6-0, I believe, and it was Genesect up against the likes of Skarmory, and when I was watching the matchup, I was thinking to myself, okay, so if with Flygon's luck, he really needs to just like whirlwind here, and I think he set up some hazards, and you it would eventually had you got to do the Thunderbolt, and then at that point, all you need is one bad flinch, and then the flinch happened, and the history's the rest is history, right? You defeated him.
Yeah, 100%. Sometimes you got to take calculated risks, and I knew like even though I'd get more sheer value out of just thunderbolting the Skarmory, getting it down to 1 HP. I knew that like nothing else on my team was gonna struggle with Skarm. I had more than enough. Like I prepped every mon to deal with that thing. I'm pretty sure I had like Fire Blast on Garchomp too. Like
Yep,
it wasn't gonna be an issue. So trying to stall it and get that chip in order to finish the sweep was really far more important than getting good damage on it.
yeah. When it comes to like Skarmory, Celesteela, and Corviknight, I always try to make sure that I bring mons with like fire coverage or electric coverage, just because they're like a pain to deal with. But still, I guess Flygon gets a little bit of the last laugh because he still survived. Despite having two 6-0 losses, he's able to survive and be in the formerly the Gaviga zone, is now the Australia zone, with hanging out with X-Term there. So either way,
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, though, I've heard some wind that some of the supposed Premier League players might not actually come back for next season. So there's still a chance that I can get a chance.
Yeah, there's always a chance. You're not locked out, but just from looking at the standings.
I did my best this season, and it's only uphill from here.
Yeah, I've talked about this with like a few people, but like it's very brutal trying to stay alive in Premier League, because unlike the other leagues, they take more than like 3 people just to give people in like Victory and below a chance to like really get into it because of how our system works. So what do you think of like I'm just curious, like as someone who got to be in Victory, what do you think of the promotion relegation system?
Honestly, I have zero idea how I got promoted. I was I was 3rd overall in the season, but I got knocked out first round of playoffs. So,
Well, I think like talking about like how competitive the leagues are overall, like just getting to the playoffs is like enough to feel that you've proven that you're ready for the next step, because
yeah, I do get that. As you get to Premier League, it becomes a lot more harsh. You can do, like, there were so many people that, like, could in theory, like, the lowest record, like, we still have people with positive differentials in Premier League getting demoted, that's kind of insane that that's even happening. It's really, really competitive, and even a little bit of bad luck can just throw you out of the league. And I know what I did like was a lot of people that, like, even those who were down and out, like, who could not get out of relegation, they still put some really, really competitive games on the board, even at the end.
Yeah.
Which was a nice thing to see, especially Pi in particular.
Agreed. I was gonna say
That guy's cool.
Oh yeah, Pie. I'll be sure to Pie gets a shout out.
Yeah,
He's top five. I think draft players I love to watch.
yeah.
Which is why he got the emoji. For this season, the Wormadam, one of the goats for sure.
My particular favorite game of his is, I forget who it was against, but the Oricorio sweep. It's incredibly hype.
Oh, I think that was the game against. Yeah, it was one of the last games.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
What I'm talking about. Nobody lost, nobody completely lost their motivation in this league, which is really nice to see. Because a lot of the times in leagues, you'll find that, near the end, people who are, guaranteed down and out will just kind of mess around and not really put any... They won't put in any
agreed.
Games, and it kind of feels like if they're matched up against any person higher on the leaderboard, it's just kind of a shutout. No, there was never a case for that. Nobody went undefeated, and a lot of those defeats were from people who are lower on the ratings, just showing how competitive this league is.
Agreed. So yeah, for those of you who get the privilege of being in Premier Draft League, show up and you always have a chance of being the best players. You get there exactly. You get there based on the fact that you did good enough against other people. I do feel bad for my friend Gavga who did not get the win. So many close ones.
Yeah.
And so many sets I hope that I would pull off, especially with Vespa Queen, but sadly did not get the role. So we got to talk about your people you're most looking forward to fighting, but who do you think was the toughest person that you got to fight?
Luke.
Okay, I was in my mind Luke tends to be one of the people for that.
Luke's team is absolutely nasty. Magirna, Lando T, and Megaladios and Tapu Koko. The only thing that could have made this team any scarier is if he had a Future Paradox anywhere on it with the Koko. That would have been just too much to handle, I think. And I think his low tiers left a bit to be desired, but no, that top 9 months is a devastating thing to go against.
Yeah, Quillfish Hisuian is a really great mon.
He's a nice low tier wall. Get the job done. I've used it in a couple other leagues.
A lot of Regenerator. I know that's something that Luke's been running in the past. He used to run a Tornadus T. What's it called? Slowking and core with Seismitoad, and that was what one actually won. So, for those of you who are listening, Luke was our Season 1 champion of Premier League prior to when it was even called Premier League. So he's definitely shown himself. Unfortunately, I think they just had a playoff game yesterday and did not win. But they're always going to come back next season with a vengeance.
Yeah. He's one of those people that I think is always going to put in a good fight no matter what, and I really hope I can stay in Premier League to give him a run for his money.
Okay. And so now we got some questions from the audience, this time from Daizuk. So he asks, what is your opinion on the Goes Games coach, Daizuk?
He helped me with one game, I think. Yeah, I think I was actually talking to him during the Flygon game, and he said he already helped Flygon beforehand, but he kind of still gave me a couple pointers and tips, not revealing anything from Flygon's team, obviously, but just somebody to bounce ideas off of. Which was really helpful. A lot of times that is the difference between a 6-0 win and a 6-0 loss,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sometimes they're just things that people can offer that you would just never think to, or you can just help examine any weaknesses that you may have had in your plan. So now, the second part of Daizuk's question is, why is he your inspiration?
He's not.
Alright. There, plain and simple, Daizuk. We got a lot of community questions here. Glider is actually also in the audience. Thanks for joining us, Glider, even though you're not able to join the season. I love that you're joining for interviews and listening in. So Glider asked, who is your least favorite team to play against and why? I'm guessing it could be different, like toughest versus least favorite to play against, because their team could be like on paper very annoying.
Honestly, the Cambridge Camrups was kind of. Did I play them? I don't know. I remember looking at their team and kind of. Yeah, I did play them. Yeah, that was a very rough team to go against. It's one that has just too many ways that it can really break you down. It's a very solid team, but it's just there's just so much to deal with, and I feel like the value that he got on a lot of things, like Houndstone and Raging Bolt, is just it's kind of unfair that he was even able to stack that much value on one draft. It's just too much to account for.
Yeah.
Terra Blue was terrifying.
Yeah. What is it? What I was gonna say. So, Alex is also one of my favorite players in Draft League. He always uses a lot of like unexpected sets sometimes, and uses it really well. Just I was very curious to see because of the fact that he has like a kind of like a weather team with Tyranitar and Houndstone, like you said, and Stoutland also a abuser. What was really curious to me, see Clang never gets drafted, and then with the Lucario, it was like one of the newer mons that we've allowed in this draft. But yeah.
Mega Lucario is so good as a mon. It's really terrifying, and I remember I was only able to even somewhat stand against it with my Buzzwole, which put in so much work in that game. Unfortunately, it didn't win because of Raging Bolt's Thunderclap.
Yeah.
But, it would have been really... it was a good game. Very close. And I feel like if he didn't have Thunderclap, Raging Bolt, or if I was able to deal with that or if I even had another mon to switch in to deal with that, I could have won that game. But I was, sitting there at the end of the game with my 33% HP Buzzwole choice locked into Earthquake, and I'm like, okay, I guess this is happening.
So let's go back to your team overall. So who we have to talk about maybe who do you think was your best member of your team? I know you said you built around Genesect, and then Ogerpon was good at Steel, but go on.
Honestly, I think the most important Pokemon on my team this season was, weirdly enough, the Buzzwole. It carried so much weight defensively and was able to pick up slack offensively when it was needed. Just really, really good mon. And also, Ogerpon it carried too hard. Genesect was really nice, but it was kind of one of those mons that it was, it's the S tier. It performed about how I expected it to. I mean, honestly, I expected a little more, but I'm not disappointed.
Yeah.
It was, it's still an S- tier, and I can definitely see why, but, it did its job. But I think overall, Ogerpon and Buzzwole were the biggest players on the team.
And then who do you think was your least valuable Pokemon? Because I'm looking at your stats right now, and actually 2 of the Pokemon never even got to start.
Never used Licky or Emolga.
So sad.
Kind of just drafted because people were like, oh yeah, you should draft Emolga, and I need removal. Which, fun fact, I didn't use a removal move once the entire season.
Wow.
Granted, that might be why I lost, but I don't know, it just never really was needed, and I have an offensive enough team to where I didn't need to worry as much about hazards. I could kind of deal with them through Taunt on the outside speed, or just boot spam, which I did a lot, and sheer offensive breaking power.
Yeah, I guess go ahead.
Yeah, even the one removal mon I did actually end up bringing a good amount, Skuntank, I ran AV on it both times.
Oh yeah, it worked really well against was it Megalatios, right? Is that one of the mons that did really well?
Yeah, it ended up being a phenomenal trapper with Pursuit, which that's a crazy move to have legal.
Yeah. Yeah. We tend to with the power stuff and everything, we try to allow a little bit more freedom for certain things. But I'm surprised Emolga didn't get much more play, just simply because of the fact that Premier League was the pivot league at some point, so the number of U-turns and volt switches I would have thought for sure I would have gotten at least once. But
yeah, I did have really good pivoting overall though. I had U-turn on Genesect, flip turn on Primarina.
Oh no, I meant to absorb other people's volt switches.
Oh, to absorb other people's volt switches? Yeah. Then again, I had Garchomp, so
Yeah.
getting Garchomp a free in is really scary, especially when it can either use that opportunity to get free hazards or use the opportunity to just start setting up and go on a rampage.
So what made you think that Licky just didn't have a good matchup in any of the games?
Yeah, there was never a good point where it shined. A lot of the matchups where there were like terrifying ghosts, which is normally where you'd bring Licky.
Yeah.
Don't think it did a better job of dealing with it due to its ability to trap them effectively.
Okay. Well, I guess hopefully maybe next season your F tiers will get a chance of use. I know that, it's not, there's no rule about it, it's just something that, like I will notice along with certain other people. Like it's
Originally, I was gonna go for Trapinch, but that actually got sniped for me despite.
Oh, you were the one that got sniped by it? I didn't realize who it was you.
The one that got sniped by Trapinch, which wasn't
Even on the sheet. Yeah. I remember that. I was like, getting sniped off sheet is like probably the most insane snipe ever.
Yeah.
I believe that was Draftarig that time?
I mean, yeah, that was this season, this league.
Yep, okay. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's Draftarig.
Yeah, the Lincoln Larvitar has got it literally, what, 2 picks before me?
Yeah, I guess so on the wheel, yeah, I think so. Or not the wheel, on the reverse.
Yeah, sniped 2 times on the same, like, you're getting sniped 2 picks ahead off sheet is just brutal.
Well, I know Draft.
I think besides the 2 F tier, they got really nice low tier value the whole season. Chandelure put in a good amount of work, and likewise with Skuntank.
Yeah.
They both were very important players.
I agree. What was I gonna say now? So are you in any other leagues right now, Potato? Like I know that. Plenty. How many?
Let me do a quick count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that one's just starting up, so 5. But I'll still count it. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, about 8.
There are 8 active leagues now.
I mean, there's a lot more than 8. I have to actively like restrain myself in joining a few of them sometimes.
All I can say is good luck. I can't imagine even doing more than 3. All I can say is good luck then.
I'm a bit of an addict.
No, that's fine as long as you can have fun and still manage your life without issue. I'm not going to judge.
The important part of managing a lot of leagues is scheduling. Try to schedule as early as you can in a week, because if you leave this all to Sunday, you're going to be playing 8 games on Sunday. Which
if your league even allows it.
Well, yeah, this is actually the only league I've found that doesn't allow games on Sundays. But at the same time, that is very understandable, especially with how much effort you guys put into like weekly. Like you guys have the weekly news recap and a lot of work put into that is really nice and really appreciated. So it makes sense to give you guys that actual time to do it.
Yep, exactly. The DLCs work very hard along with anyone just to make sure people get their fair shot, get things done, and this way people don't have to worry about things rolling over into the following week. So I think this was your second or third like draft league here in Draftarig, formerly Spare Pillar.
This is my third. I started in what's the one below Victory League again?
Well, it depends on. So if it was in season 3, it was like either like Verizian or like Cobalion or one of those. Okay.
Yeah, I started in Cobalion, and then hopped straight up to Victory, and then I went to now I'm in Premier. My first season, I remember drafting a Curum White Magirna.
My God.
Bible Blessing.
Oh, that's a terrifying team.
Yeah, unfortunately, I lost due to Not knowing hidden power was legal.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's happened to a few people, in like because they don't realize that the league rules are different. So
Yeah, I kind of got just blown up by Magneton when I was trying to use my Palmot to, bring back the Kira.
oh
Uh, yeah, I kind of
oh,
got just sniped by Choice Scarf Magneton with HP Ground. I thought it was, I thought, oh, since the other mon already terrored, this one can't terror ice and kill me, so I was safe. But
oh. Well, either way, you still like so. Either way, you still, regardless of that, you've still made it all the way to Premier. So for people who haven't been able to participate in our draft leagues, like what would you say about your experience here in Draftarig?
it's been very nice. It's been honestly one of the most competitive leagues I've been in. But at the same time, if you want to, when you're starting in a lower league, I mean, obviously you're still going to find strong competition. This has stacked players head to toe just due to how much people are moving around. If you have a bad season, you're going to end up in a lower division. Um, so yeah, plenty of opportunity for good fights. But if you're a new player, any of the lower leagues are still going to offer you a great experience. There's a lot of like really like hype games. There's a lot of good stuff waiting for you, and I'd say this is the league with the most quality of life that I've seen in any league ever. Like there's so many. There's like the newsletter, all the bot is really really well made. Um, Tons of just good stuff that I'd highly recommend starting. And I think my best advice to actually, get into it is just start. Like, just even if you're gonna fail, the only way to become successful is to keep trying.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think a lot of people get intimidated because of the amount of effort that people can put into Draft League, but I think as you get used to the idea of it, it'll be a lot easier, week to week. Like you don't have to spend hours doing calcs and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, 100%.
But
Also, something that's helped me a lot this season.
mhm.
There's this nifty little Chrome extension. It's called CalcDex. You can use that, and it will basically calc things for you right in the middle of your game, so you can just see what options will like if
Oh
like something
wow.
will kill and you can like adjust the sets on there. Just it makes things really convenient, and it like gets rid of a lot of insecurities.
Oh, I never even knew about that. Okay. Well, thanks for letting us know about that resource.
Yeah, it's been really helpful to me this season, and it's one of the few. Actually, I think that's probably the main reason that I actually got away with the sweep on the Ampharos. Is I didn't know HP Rock actually outcode the Volcarona.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I probably would have switched out if I didn't have it. I thought it was gonna do like 80 to 90 to like Spadef Volcarona, but nah.
That's fair. Um, so
Kills it.
looking back at your season, like, what do you think was like your highlight if you had one?
Highlight, I honestly first game of the season. We're being completely real. That
Mhm.
is, it was the best. It was probably one of the best games that I played this season, and it showcased all the members of my team really well. And I think it was just probably that was my big highlight. Got things going strong. Things kind of fell apart for a little bit though, which I'm still kind of confused about. Some of it was misplaced, but some of it was just sheer unfortunate luck, which
Yeah, that's part of
happens in any
Pokemon.
sports. But
Sadly.
yeah, it's one of those things where even like I still felt like I was playing my best, and I didn't actually feel a lot of the time that I was like there was only a couple games where luck really swayed things. I still felt like I was playing incredibly well, but I still was, I was still losing games. Like it's
Yep.
hard to. This is a difficult league. You're
Yep.
going to feel like even though you're doing your absolute best, sometimes it just doesn't work, and it's hard to pick out why.
Yeah. It's hard to like like you said, fathom like when you lose sometimes, and it's just how like Pokemon is. Like you can just lose off of like a certain roll or just like bad luck, like you said, and you just gotta just roll with it. Otherwise, you're just gonna beat yourself down into it.
Yeah, you just roll with the punches and try like. Granted, this is something that I couldn't actually do this season because there's a lot of times where it was just luck or it was just I got outplayed. But a big thing is looking over your previous games, seeing what you did wrong, where you threw, if you lost, and even games you won, looking anywhere you could have done better, you could have secured more differential, all that sort of stuff, to just improve and get even better is one of my biggest tips to actually, getting promoted, getting a higher division, all that sort of stuff, and just getting better at the game.
Yeah, it's all great sound advice. That's why we save the replays for you to like learn from your own games and also to learn from like your opponents as well. Like the people in the server have valuable things to like show you about Pokemon. If you think that's intimidating to jump into competitive. I'm just have like two more questions, Potato, before we wrap up. My next question is about your team, which we didn't really get to talk about, like the name, Boston Blades. Tell me like why. I know like where you're like kind of where you're from, but still tell me like why Boston Blades.
Well, it's kind of a matter of centralization. I know my team for the past two divisions with the Plymouth Porygons, but since then I kind of standardized my team across all the different divisions I played in. Besides this one at first, but then I kind of decided, you know what, it's time for the upgrade, time to move into the big city and really just get things rolling on the right foot. It's also a much easier name to say.
Yeah, no, yeah, agreed. It's a really cool logo. I have no idea who made it, where it came from, but it's a really cool logo.
That was my work.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I'm a bit of an artiste. I take a lot of pride in my work, and I just make it all myself.
So do you do commissions? I'm just curious because.
Granted, this is the only logo I've ever made for and only good logo I've ever made for Draftarig, so I don't know if I'd be able to replicate it very well.
Okay.
But, yeah, I haven't done commissions before, but I'm not opposed to the idea.
Okay, I was just curious, because there are people who always like to like seek new logos, and if you're someone that would want to even do it for practice, I'm just curious to know.
100%.
All right.
Anybody's welcome to hit me up, and a lot of the times I don't actually have a good way of payment set up, but there's a good chance if I know you to, might just do it for free. Who knows?
All right, we got to hear it. And then, so like my last question is, anything you want to say to your fans before we close out the season? After your season.
I know this season wasn't it, but next season will be it. Trust me, things are good. Things are gonna improve, and it's gonna be bigger and better than ever. Even if I'm in Victory League, trust me, I won't be there for long.
All right, and thank you for your time, Potato, and thanks to everyone who got to join in for the interview. Look forward to our next one. I know that we have a few more people who haven't gotten them done, but again, thank you for your time, Potato.
Yeah, no worries. I look forward to being back up on the stage soon. It's been a pleasure. You rated all these, and I always like doing them.
Good.